Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into your sources for Azerbaijan.
That's right. We're looking at the weather and climate outlook, focusing specifically on July 5th through the 14th, 2025.
Our mission really is to distill what's happening right now, the immediate forecasts, any warnings, but also crucially connect that to the bigger climate picture there.
And, there's some surprising things in here, like how a month that's usually dry can actually have, well, significant flood risks.
And we'll also touch on the Caspian Sea, which is facing some serious environmental challenges. Okay, so let's get into the immediate stuff. What are we seeing for, say, the next 10 days?
Well, the big headline is heat. A significant heat wave is expected, especially from July 8th to the 14th.
How hot are we talking?
We're seeing projections for Baku potentially hitting 36.7 degrees Celsius. That's 98 Fahrenheit by July 14th. It climbs steadily towards that.
Wow. And the earlier days, still warm, I assume.
Yeah, July 5th to 7th look more like 28 Celsius, so around 82, 83 Fahrenheit. Still pretty warm, but it really ramps up after that.
And it's not just the number on the thermometer, is it? There are health risks.
Absolutely. You've got that high heat combined with pretty high humidity average, 59%, and a very high UV index, a 10.
So it feels like temperature is going to be brutal.
Exactly. That combination really increases the physiological stress. It ups the risk for heat exhaustion, heat stroke, particularly in cities like Baku.
Right, the urban heat island thing where the city itself traps heat.
Precisely. Buildings, pavement.
Yeah.
They just soak it up and radiate it back out.
Okay, heat and humidity. What else? Baku's the city of winds, right?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
And the forecast shows it living up to that name, especially early in the period.
How strong?
We're looking at winds around 32 miles per hour on July 5th, and then potential gusts hitting 43 mile per hour on the 6th. Settles down a bit after that, maybe 26 mile per hour on the 7th.
43-mile gusts?
Yeah.
That's enough to cause problems. Transportation, maybe? Loose object.
For sure. Transportation disruption, maybe some damage to lighter structures, and definitely dust storms. That impacts air quality, visibility, not pleasant.
Okay, so heat, humidity, wind. Now, you mentioned something surprising about rain, because July is usually bone dry there, isn't it?
That's the paradox, yeah. Long-term average for Baku in July is only like 2 millimeters of rain for the whole month, super dry.
But the forecast
Shows a low chance, but it's there. A 17% chance of passing showers on the 6th, and a 16% chance of thunderstorms early on the 7th.
Low chance, but you said significant flood risk. How does that work?
Well, that's the crucial part. Azerbaijan is actually known globally as being very flood-prone, despite the dryness.
Because the ground is so dry.
Exactly. When you get even a brief, intense downpour on that parched land, the water doesn't soak in. It runs off immediately.
Ah, so you get flash floods very quickly.
Very quickly. Rapid runoff, flash flooding, soil erosion, even landslides in some areas. It doesn't take much rain to cause big problems.
Okay, so these immediate weather events, the heat wave, the wind, the paradoxical rain risk, they're not just random, are they? They fit into a bigger picture.
Absolutely. These are happening against a backdrop of, well, really significant long-term climate shifts in Azerbaijan.
What kind of shifts are the sources pointing to?
The mean annual temperature across the country is up, and it's projected to rise another 2 to 3 degrees Celsius by 2050. Heat waves are getting more frequent, more intense.
Like the one forecast now.
Exactly. And rainfall. It's tricky. The total amount isn't changing much overall, but the way it falls is...
More extreme events.
Yes. Increased frequency and magnitude of extreme rainfall in some areas, which again makes that flood risk worse. And at the same time, the probability of drought is also projected to go up significantly. It's trending more arid overall.
More heat, more drought, but also more intense rain when it does come. That's quite a challenging mix.
It really is. And then you have the Caspian Sea situation.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. What's happening there?
It's a severe ecological crisis, frankly. The water itself is warming up. The South Caspian hit 30 degrees Celsius back in 2021.
Which means more evaporation, I guess.
A lot more evaporation. And combined with that, the sea level is dropping. It's shrinking.
Shrinking. How much?
The predictions show a steady decline for the next 10, maybe 15 years. It's partly the evaporation, partly reduced river flow feeding into the sea. It's losing water alarmingly fast.
Wow. So what does a shrinking, warming Caspian Sea mean for Azerbaijan and the region?
Well, think about water scarcity, first off. Azerbaijan's average evaporation rate is already 2.5 times its total rainfall. Losing the Caspian exacerbates that hugely.
But ecosystems.
Fishing.
Huge impacts. Ecosystems, biodiversity, coastal communities are all threatened. And economically, yeah, fishing, shipping, tourism. all face major challenges. It's a vital resource under serious stress.
Okay, so just to recap for everyone listening, we've seen this immediate forecast for Azerbaijan July 5th to 14th.
Yeah.
Serious heat, strong winds, and this weird risk of flash floods from even light rain.
Right. And we've connected that to the bigger picture. Long-term warming, more extreme weather, and this really critical situation unfolding with the Caspian Sea shrinking and warming. Understanding how these things link up the immediate weather and the long-term climate shift seems absolutely essential for planning, doesn't it?
It's crucial for preparedness, for strategy, for building resilience for the people and the environment there.
Which really leaves us with a final thought for you listening in. Facing this clear outlook, the escalating heat, these unpredictable downpours, and the transformation of a resource like the Caspian Sea, what steps, practical or policy-wise, should be on the table? What needs prioritizing? Something to think about.